Well, hey there! Welcome to the channel where you will find love, laughs, and DIYs. My name is Crafty Kathy. I'm the owner and creator of Kids Vintage Farmhouse here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I just want to thank you so much for stopping in and crafting and spending a little time with me today. This week, I have been working on some BEE-you-tiful bee decor, and I hope that you guys are going to like this. We're just going to jump on into the video. And the first DIY is a light up bee gnome. I'm going to start off by showing you some of the supplies that I used. And as this DIY went along, I did have to change some of them. But you're going to need some kind of lights. These are just some extra ones I had left over from Christmas, and they were really bright, so I liked them. But you can use those little small fairy lights like the ones that I always use. I have them linked in my Amazon store. You can usually get about 10 to 15 sets of these, and they run about $1 per each little thing of fairy lights. Super good quality and a super good price. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is this little jar. Now this jar came from the Dollar Tree. I actually had bought one at Hobby Lobby. I didn't use it because this one from the Dollar Tree worked fine. You're also going to need some type of a bead for the little nose. And then you're going to need some type of fur. I started off with this spool because I didn't have any of the faux fur. This is faux fur, but it's like in a ribbon form. And I didn't feel like it was going to be big enough. So I'll show you what I change it with later. My plan was to actually use this and do 2 sheets. But thank goodness I didn't have to do that. Now, I got these socks off of Temu. They were like, I want to say $3 and something for the pair. They're just the little bumblebee socks is what I pulled up. They're a size small. And if you want to make your own wings, you're going to need like some type of wire and then something to put in the middle of the wire. I didn't know if I was going to use this mesh. I ended up not using it. And then just some little embellishments like these little flowers. I'm going to start off by just sliding my little sock up over my jar. Now don't forget you're going to have to open and close this jar. So do not pull it up over that little area where you're going to have to open and close your jar, like where the lid is. Just keep that in mind as you go along. And then I just cut off the bottom there, and I'm going to flip it up on its top. I'm going to put my little finger protectors on, and I'm just going to put a little glue under here and just push down my sock so that it will set flat, and it's not going to be an issue when I try to set my little gnome up. Now here's something that I didn't show you at the first. I ended up having to buy a couple pieces of felt, and I just made a little makeshift pattern for the hat. I put 2 pieces of felt together, one on top of the other, and drew like a little crooked line because I want his hat to be kind of crooked and just kind of funny shaped, if that makes sense. Put your 2 little pieces of felt together and sit back and look at it and ask yourself, is that the shape of the hat I want? Which I wanted mine to be shaped almost like a little dunce hat. So I cut the edge of mine off. And if you don't want your shape this way, by all means, just do it the way that you want it. It's going to be so cute no matter what. Then you're just going to glue it together, and I used regular hot glue. I didn't use fabric glue. However, you can use that, and you glue all the sides together except for the bottom that's going to go around the jar. Then I just went around and made sure that I had a good seal and my glue was correct on all of my edges and corrected anywhere where it needed a little bit more glue. And then I'm just going to flip my hat inside out. Then you're just going to use something that's pointy. I just use the edge of my scissors to kind of poke that top up so that it will come up correctly. If you want to make a hem on this, that's perfectly fine. I don't really sew much, so what I wanted to do was just flip up the little rim of my hat so it would kind of stick up like a little Robin Hood rim. And then you just do a little dry run and stick it over your top just to make sure that it's going to fit correctly. I put one little bead of glue underneath where I folded his hat up just so it would stay in place, and then I go all the way around gluing the hat to the lid. That way when you take the lid off, the hat's going to come off too. And make sure you use your finger protectors on this part, because if you don't, you will burn the far out of your poor little fingertips. So I just continued all the way around, and I got my little hat glued down, and just to make sure, I unscrewed the top just to see what it was going to look like and make sure that it's going to come off right. And this is looking so cute so far. The next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and stick my little battery-powered lights down in there. Now, I prefer the ones that I get off of Amazon, the little string lights, because you don't have to fool with batteries and all that stuff. I just take them out and throw them away when I'm finished with them because they're so cheap. I just throw them away. It's cheaper to do that than to buy batteries for these things. And then I just close it all back up. I went to Hobby Lobby and grabbed some of this faux fur. It was half off of $2.79, so it was only like $1.40 or something. I could not find my other fur in my room, and I didn't want to use that ribbon because it was just too thin. So you just open it up and you kind of trace out almost like a little triangle up at the top, an upside down triangle, because that's the shape of the beard. And when I'm cutting these little beards out, I don't like to use scissors because it makes the fur look funny. But if you will use an X-Acto knife and just cut it, it makes it so much easier, and it actually looks like a little beard when you're finished. Hold your little beard up to the gnome and make sure it's going to look right. It's going to go on the top part of the jar, right under where the hat is, but you're not going to attach it to the lid. And use whatever you're going to use for your little nose and just kind of hold it up and do a little half circle with your X-Acto knife. That way the little nose is going to fit right in there perfectly. Instead of using one of the little rounded beads, I have these little pumpkins that I found at the thrift store. It's a little wooden pumpkin. I pulled off the little stem, and I'm going to use that for the nose. And I just glued the nose right at the top of the jar. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the very top of my beard and just slide that beard right around the little nose. And like I said, make sure that that beard goes on the jar part and not attached to the hat in any way. And if you keep hearing a rattling noise, I'm so sorry. Roxy's playing with her bell and she is going wild with it. So yeah, just make sure that you put your finger protectors on too so you don't burn yourself. I forgot to do that, and guess what? I got burnt. But you just make sure that your little gnome is all glued up there, and then just sit back and look at him again. If you need to shape your little beard, go ahead and do so now. And just do it to your own taste. You don't have to do this any certain way. It's going to be so adorable no matter what you do. And remember, I told you a lot of things evolved as I went along. I'm using this DIY paint called Bright Sunshine, and I got this butterfly at the thrift store. I was going to make my own wings, which all you would do if you're going to make your own wings is use some of that floral wire that you get from the Dollar Tree and just shape them. And what I was going to do is lay it down, put some hot glue in where I had made the wire, and just glue some tulle, on the inside that wire, if that makes any sense. It would stick to the glue and it would be like an iridescent, because my tulle was kind of clear colored. But I found this butterfly and I wanted to use this for the wings. So what I'm doing is using this upper part of the butterfly here, and I am just taking this Bright Sunshine, which is this beautiful yellow color, and going all around and painting this. The inner part of my wings are like iridescent, so I didn't do anything to them. The inner part where it's the yellow. I'll go ahead and show you this part even though I didn't use it. The back part of the wings, I painted them black, and I painted the body of the butterfly black also. But like I said, the black part of the wings I did not use. I only used the yellow portion. So if you can find some type of butterfly like this to use as the wings, it's just a shortcut. But if not, use that floral wire from the Dollar Tree in your imagination. Just make your little wings out of the floral wire and just put you a little glue in the middle on a piece of parchment paper now, and it will stick inside your little wings. I took my little cutters and I cut the wings. I disassembled this whole little butterfly so I could use the wings, and I wanted to keep the antennas also. So let me show you what I did after that little part. I had cut the antennas away from the head of that butterfly, and I just used these little antennas and glued them down in the cuff of the hat. That's why I made that little cuff of that hat, and I'm so glad I did, because those antennas wouldn't have looked right anywhere else, I don't think. Then I just used some hot glue and put it on the tip of the little wings, and I just glued the wings right onto the side of my jar where on the little sock there, because I was afraid that if I put them too much toward the back, you wouldn't be able to see them as well. So I kind of wanted them more at the side. And then I just secured them with a little bitty bit of hot glue on the back. I got these little mini daisies at Hobby Lobby, and they were half off for only $2. And I'm going to place a couple of these on his hat. I stuck one on the side, one kind of halfway up, and then one on the tippity top of his little hat. And then I also got some of these little bees at Hobby Lobby. They're little picks that I only paid $2.50 for, and I pulled the bee off of his little stem, and I'm going to glue him right in the middle of the hat. And this guy turned out so cute. I hope you like him.
Thinking places where you spend your time. Ain't no place I'd rather go. You're a funny little critter and I love you so, man. I wanna take a ride in the wheelbarrow in your mind. I come and sit down with me in a rocking chair. Coffee pot is nice and hot. We can sit in our underwear. Tell me about the dreams you had last week. Slamming on.
Let me show you this beautiful conversation set that was sent to me by Costway. It is gorgeous wicker furniture for outside at your pool and patio area. It's actually got 5 pieces to it, 2 chairs, and a small little table in the middle, and then 2 beautiful little cushions that go on it. Now this thing was so easy to put together. It came in a compact size box, and all the instructions were so easy to follow. Everything was labeled with A, B, and C, and it made it so easy to know exactly how to put it together. For us, the assembly took less than 10 minutes. And in May, they're having a big blowout party where they're have all of their porch and patio furniture on a great sale. I'm going to leave the link down below just in case any of y'all are looking for some patio furniture, because summer's coming up on us very quickly and we want to be prepared for those gorgeous summer days. So I'll leave that in the link below. I figured some of you guys may be looking for something small like this for your porch and patio. So they gave my subscribers a 10% off coupon, which I will leave in the link also. And if you're enjoying my content so far, I would love to have you to subscribe and become a part of my family here on YouTube. All you got to do is hit that little red subscribe button. It's totally free, and you're in, baby. And if you would, give me a big thumbs up, because that really helps me out on YouTube. It pushes my videos out there for people who've never seen me before. And I don't know if you know about it, but I'm over on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I would love for you guys to go over to those platforms and support me there too. I'll leave all the links below. But for now, let's get back into this video. We're going to make a beautiful bee wreath. I'm going to start off with this wreath that I got from Temu. It was only like 11 bucks, I'm pretty sure. And I wasn't crazy about the quality of it by itself. It's okay, but it's just really plasticky. So I wanted to jazz it up a little bit and make it something that I would be proud to hang on my door. I love the yellow flowers on it, but we're going to jazz it up. I got this welcome-ish sign at Hobby Lobby, and right now it's 40% off their spring stuff, so it was only $1.19 in the end, and this little guy was also just $1.19. He is in their spring section also. And I'm going to use some of these little honey dippers that I got off of Amazon a few years ago. They are in my Amazon store under crafting must-haves. And I'm going to use my little Grace Monroe skillet that they sent me. And it's really good to use for wreaths and things like that. And I'm going to use these little gold colored hot glue sticks that were sent to me with one of my glue guns along the way. I think that this color will look really good and it's going to look like honey on there. And I tossed it in my little Grace Monroe skillet. All you got to do is just turn it on basically. It's got a little switch on the front that you flip on, and then you put it on whatever degree of heat you want it on. I'm also going to be using various ribbons. I got this little bee one at Hobby Lobby the other day for half off of $4.99, so I only paid $2.50 for it. It's so cute. And then I wasn't sure which ones I was going to use, so I just got kind of a variety of different ones that I found along the way. I'm going to let my little glue sticks melt, and in the meantime, I just took some black chalk paint and I'm going over this word that says welcome-ish. I think that is the cutest little saying because that's me to a T. You are always welcome at my house, but kind of welcome-ish, especially when I'm in the middle of a video, because I am very dedicated to making my videos. I absolutely love my alone time too. And by the time that I had that painted, my little glue stick had already done its thing, and my little golden colored glue sticks were perfectly melted. So I'm going to take these little honey dippers, and I'm literally just going to dip them down inside this as if it was honey, because I think that that's going to make the most realistic look. And so I just kind of rolled it around in my little glue skillet, and then I'm just going to get a big old glob of it on the end. And then you carefully pull it out. Just remember, that is hot glue now. And so what I'm going to do is just take one of my little clippers, my little chip clip things that I get from the Dollar Tree, and stick it on there. And so that way it can stand up and finish drying. Now I'm going to take all these little honey dippers that I have, because even if I don't use them in this video, I can use them in a future video. So since I've got the glue already going, I might as well make them, you know. So I'm just going to do the same thing, put a little clip around it and set it up straight. And then for a few of them, I wanted them to kind of drip down off the top of the dipper. So what I did was I just kind of set them down on my little parchment paper. And that way it's going to just dry that way, and it's going to look like a perfect little honey dipper, you know. I figured since I had the hot glue already melted, I'm just going to go ahead and use all of it that I have in the skillet, because I'm too cheap to buy any more, to be honest with you, and I didn't want to have much of a cleanup. So I just used all of these on my skewers, and then I turned my little skillet off. I'm going to use my favorite paint in the whole wide world, which is DIY paint. I'm going to use this yellowy color called Liquid Sunshine to do the yellow parts of the bee, and just a black chalk paint to do the black parts. I get all of my DIY paints from Miss Lori over at Milton's Daughter, and I leave her information in the description box below. These days, good customer service is hard to find, and Lori goes above and beyond when it comes to customer service. Just look at some of the comments that people leave about her. She is amazing, and it makes me very loyal to her. I also lightly went over his little head, and then I'm just going to use a baby wipe to kind of rub that color around. It almost makes like a little stain. I'm going to use what is left on that baby wipe and go around his wings and make kind of like a shading effect all the way around. Then I put a little bit of yellow inside his wings and use that baby wipe just to kind of rub it around. Just whatever color you perceive a bee to be. I've seen people paint the wings white, so it really doesn't matter. He's going to be cute. And speaking of cute, look how sweet these little honey dippers turned out. They are perfect. And I just took a black Sharpie and just kind of outlined the wings so that they would be very, noticeable. And let me tell y'all what I did. This was crazy. I took a white permanent marker, one of my little, I think these are artisan markers. They are. And I made the little bee a face. I tried 2 or 3 times, and this was the last time I was like, forget that face, and just painted it black again because it looked so crazy to me. It just looked too cartoony for my front door. But I did use that white artisan marker and go all the way around, making like little lines, almost like little polka dots because they were so tiny, around the word welcome-ish, because I just feel like that just kind of outlines it more and brings a little something cute and extra to it. The next thing that I did was take my little bee ribbon and I measured out to 6 inches and I cut 8 of those. Then I took 2 of the ribbons at a time and dovetailed the ends of them. Then I'm going to take this little black and white polka dotted ribbon, the little skinny one, and I cut 8 of those at 5 inches each. I took that polka dotted ribbon and I glued it right down the center of the bee ribbon just to give it a little added flair. Then I'm going to take the little ribbon and I'm going to pinch it in the middle and kind of fold it over on itself. If some of your little black and white ribbon sticking off the side, just cut it off. But you just kind of fold it over on itself, put a little dab of glue, and then squeeze it. And it kind of looks like a little bee itself, or like a little wonton there. And then you do that to all your different little ribbons. Then I'll show you this part again slowly, just so it makes it a little bit easier to understand. But I just folded my little ribbon right in the middle to make like a little makeshift ribbon and kind of folded it over on itself. And I'm going to put just a little dab of glue right there in the center and squeeze it together so it sticks that way. And then I made all 8 of these that way. Then I'm going to put this baby together. I took some of the floral wire from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut off a pretty big piece of it and I'm going to wrap it through the H and I'm also going to wrap it around the E, and that way when my welcome-ish lays down, it's going to fit right in there. And this wreath actually had like little holes in the middle part of it, which made it very easy to just wrap around there. And so that way we're going to secure our little sign. Then I'm just going to take my little ribbon bundles that I've made here and I'm going to put them just anywhere where I see fit. And I do this the same way that I do my florals. What I do on the left side, I'm going to do it in the exact same spot on the right side. And what I do, on one spot, I go to the opposite side and put it in the exact same place. And that way it just looks right and it coordinates very beautifully. Since this wreath had that inner ring to it, that green plastic part that was inside it, I just glued my little things to it. It made it so much easier just to pop them down on there instead of trying to tie them any other way. So just a little dab of glue will do it. I'm going to take my little honey dippers and I'm going to just put a little bit of hot glue on the base of them and I'm going to glue them almost like they're standing up. And I'm going to pay special attention to put them close or right beside the ribbon. That way they're going to be seen. There's just so many small flowers all over this wreath. It would be very easy for the ribbon or those little honey dippers to get lost in the middle of it. Then I took my little bee and put some hot glue all over the back of him and I just glued him on the top part of the wreath, like on the top of the flowers, because I wanted him to kind of stand out from everything anyways. I did glue one of the little daisies from before on the side of the bumblebee's head and then one in the middle of each of the bows because I thought that jazzed it up just a little bit. I hope you like this one.
Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. When shadows and gloom are all that you see, we'll find a place where we can be free. From the mountaintop down to the deepest valley.
The last DIY is going to be the cutest little bee sign. I got these little bees at Hobby Lobby in the wood pile section, which is where all their wood is, and they were half off of $3.99, so I paid $2. There's 4 in there. This sign was on clearance for $2.74, which is way cheaper than a thrift store right now. I mean, my thrift stores are crazy. And then I also got some of these little alphabet numbers. I got these from the Dollar General for $2. And I have some DIY paint in the color called beadboard, which is an off-white color. Now let's get started. I took my color beadboard and I'm going to paint the front portion of the sign only. The sides are a beautiful wood and I wanted to leave them the way that they were, but it did take 2 coats of this paint to cover up those words that said Farmer's Market. Then I took my little alphabet tiles that I got from the Dollar General and I spelled be kind or buzz off the way that I wanted to put it on my little board here, and I just glued all my words down. I don't measure to make sure they're perfectly right on there. I just eyeball them and I put 2 of the little bees down. I'm going to do kind of like a faux stain on the sides of this little board. You see that it's kind of like a wood already. I just painted like a little line of my black chalk paint. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. My black chalk paint on the top and a little bit just kind of here and there. Then I use a baby wipe and rub it in, and the water creates like a stain. That way it's not totally black, but it's stained black, and so it just looks like a faux stain. You can see a little bit better here my technique. You see I just paint it just kind of really wishy-washy, just kind of halfway, paint it, and then rub it in with that little baby wipe, and it's exactly the way that I want it to be. Won't, I said be, pun intended. I'm so funny. And then I felt like it needed one more of these little bee signs, and I thought this one was so cute on the honey there, so I stuck him down on the bottom just to add a little flair. And I'm going to show you how I make my little shoestring bows. I just basically make 2 little loops, you see here with my fingers, just like you would your shoestrings. And I just tie them very simply, and that's how I get my little shoestring bow. Sorry, I'm just a little bit out of angle there, but all I'm doing is flipping that one little bottom tail around so that you can see the polka dot, because see, it keeps sticking back around there to where you can't see the polka dots. And I just manipulate it with my fingers and pull it back around the correct way. And then I just clip off the tails. Since it's so tiny, I don't do dovetails. I just kind of cut them at an angle, put down a little bit of glue, and stick it down there, and that's all there is to my simple little bow. And I felt like it wasn't short enough, so I just made one little quick adjustment and cut those tails just a little bit shorter real quick. Then I'm going to finish this beautiful sign off with some of those daisies. I am so glad I picked up these daisies from Hobby Lobby. They are so cute, and they were only like $2 for that pack. And you see, I have used them on every single one of these DIYs. That's all I did to this one. I absolutely love it. It's probably my favorite, and it was the easiest one. Hope you like it.
Tick-tock, the clock keeps ticking. I don't know
If you stuck with me through this whole video, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of y'all for stopping my way, spending a little time with me, and us crafting together. Don't forget that every Monday and Thursday, I have videos at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I love you guys. I have some collabs coming up in May, but I will announce those next week. And so I will see you back here on Thursday at 6:30, and I hope you have a blessed week. Bye. Here's a quick video of my little man. We had bought my daughter this Apple Watch, and we were going to surprise her at school, and we put this around his little neck. And don't worry, it's very loose before anybody says anything. See his little fat rolls hanging over. But yeah, we put it on his neck so he could give it to her as her little surprise. And he was so excited to be able to give it to her. And of course, Roxy had to get in the middle of the picture. She likes to steal the show all the time. Isn't he gorgeous? Get him laid across that llama. They're fighting over a toy. Oh, he's mad. Oh, he's mad. Look at this guy. He ain't a runt no more, Kim. Look at him. That's old Tater. He's big as a house. He's fat. He's getting fat. And his coat is so soft, and he's very, very white. He's a pretty boy. Look at him. Oh, you said don't mess with me, woman. I've had it with you. If nothing else, they're pure entertainment. Oh. Oh. Get her, boy, get her. Show her. Show her you're the boss.
Oh, God. What'd he do?
Look at him. Looks like a guppy.
He said I had to get my daddy.
Watch him.
Daddy encouragement. That's a good boy, Daddy, Daddy. That's a good boy, Fatty, Daddy.
Damn, my fat baby. Look at him. Oh, he's on his back now. He's down. He's down for the count. Will he make it?
He's rolling all over his road.
He says, I said, go on, woman. Mm-mm-mm.